Sometimes people tell you that you have to work hard to be at a certain level of success, to believe in your own competency, that you're going to be shit at the beginning of it. And so in this video, I want to debunk that myth and give you a really quick strategy that's going to help you to move forward. To give me 5 minutes, and I will show you exactly how to do that. So one of the biggest reasons people don't start something is because they don't know how. And so that whole mindset of not knowing the how makes them feel like they have to research and know all the information before they can take that one step. And so it's almost like they're in this mode of, even though I see the steps, and even though I know each step, one step comes after the other, I need to know how the steps work, which doesn't make sense, right? But yeah, that's how we think when it comes to our general mindset of starting something new. So we start with one step and the next step and the next step, and eventually we found ourselves at the top of the staircase, and we look back and we realize, oh my gosh, I did it already. So in this video, that's what I want to share. The way to actually be successful, and be successful from the get-go, is to understand you've done it before. You can do it again. And one of the ways to do that is to keep score. Now, you're going to keep score of the things that are serving you, that you have done well, not things that you are improving upon and you are not so great at. That doesn't work, right? We want you to be like, I'm great at this because of all these great things. And sometimes we're told not to brag about accolades. We should be focusing on what we need to improve on. So when do we focus on our accolades? Excuse me. It's that one night when somebody gives you an award, when somebody decides to give you an award, that's when you're supposed to be like, yes, thank you for the celebration. Now I'm just going to put it in my closet and not bring it out again and not talk about it. Let's focus back on all the things I'm rubbish at. It's just like, it's so backwards. We're told in this culture to don't brag and to not love on ourselves. It's quite sick if you think about it, where you have to focus on the things that aren't working for you, that aren't great about you. And that's when people then say, oh, then they tell you to, once you kind of achieve that, they tell you, okay, what else do you need to fix? It's like, have you got an addiction to like working on crap and constantly focusing just on that and not on the great things I do? So this is what this video is about. Just gone off tangent. Keeping scores, keeping a scorecard of the great things you do, because you can bet your bottom dollar or pound or yen that people keep score of when you do things wrong, and you probably keep score of when you do things wrong. And so when are you keeping score of when you're doing things right? And I ask so many times, and I do the face because I'm like, it just doesn't make sense, right? So instead of you waiting for somebody to keep a scorecard of all the great accomplishments that you've done and things that you've had, this is where you'll be like, okay, so I spent, this is what apps do really well. On Insight Timer, which I am also a meditation teacher on, hint, hint, you can, the more you actually do the meditations, the more it keeps score. So the more you do it consecutively, the more points you get. And so they've gamified the process of meditation. So you need to gamify your process of success. You're gamifying success. And what does that really mean? It means make it exciting to win. Make it amazing to win. Make you unstoppable when you win, so that you're not then looking at things of, okay, what's the next thing? Celebrate you, love on you, applaud you, because at the end of the day, why are we always waiting for somebody else to give us our accolades? That's external validation again. So we need to figure out what we want to keep score on and celebrate ourselves, clap for ourselves, because we should be done now of this mindset of, I can really only celebrate it when somebody else recognizes the greatness that I do, but I can't really tell them what I do until they recognize it. And then when they recognize it, then I can celebrate, but I can't celebrate for too long, because if I celebrate for too long, then it doesn't work. That just doesn't work for me. And I'm sure it doesn't work for 99% of people out there. And the 1% that does work for doesn't even exist. So the point of this is, keep a scorecard of your accomplishments, of what you're doing. Now, these could be little incremental things, like, yeah, you meditate for the day, great, check. You read for 5-10 minutes, yep, check, cool. You did your bed for work one day, check, good, cool. So these are little successes, and little successes break up to big successes. Like, oh, I'll exercise for 5 minutes a day. Check, cool. In every 5 minutes that you exercise, and you maybe building upon that. I sometimes do shaman rituals, and every time I'm there doing a ritual about focusing, there's a compound effect of me doing that. And the more I do it, the more stronger my mindset gets, the more I do that. And so it's kind of like you are celebrating yourself, giving yourself that validation muscle, and building up that success within, so that so that if something came along and says, oh, that was quite shit, you'd be like, okay. And you just be like Teflon, it just glides off you. Now, I'm not saying everyone comes up to you and does that, but they do it in a non-obvious way. There's another word, but I just can't think of it right now. But it's non-obvious, right? So it's under the radar. They won't say it wasn't that great, but they won't say it was that good. So they'll say things that won't necessarily encourage you and uplift you, and then they'll expect you to be bouncing back like Tigger. And so your job is to always bounce back like Tigger, but that means it starts within of you giving yourself that internal validation, so that your goals that you want to achieve, this big vision that you have for yourself, isn't dependent on other people giving you those recognitions. Like, oh, you've got money to buy the house. That source of money might be coming from your job, and that means somebody else again is validating you. And that doesn't really work still, because it's still kind of like, well, if you stop working at that job, you wouldn't get that validation again from that company, but you might be doing that same exact work but not getting paid for it, because you might be doing it on your own business. So you need to find ways to validate yourself, ways to say I'm successful in this. So then when you look at this list, and when you look at tapping in and anchoring this stuff, which we'll get to a bit later, you'll anchor in the belief system to your soul that you have got this, that you are successful because you've already done it before. When you go within and you find out the stories of what's worked well for you, what you're really good at, what's really helped you move forward, you increase, not even increase, you improve your self-image, the way that you're looking at yourself. If you look at yourself in the mirror right now and you just don't feel accomplished in yourself until somebody gives you that accomplishment, then that's not a life to live. Because if you can live for somebody's accolades, you can die by their criticisms. And so we don't want to live by anyone's round of applause. We want to live by our own. And that starts with building up our own internal validation system, our own validation GPS, our success GPS, and putting those things down. Like, you could have been just, you could have smiled today and you don't normally smile. Success. Because it's your benchmark. It's what's good for you and your soul. It's not based on external validation points where maybe it's like, oh, I've got this house. That's an external validation. Now, I'm not saying it's not good to have your own house, but what I'm saying is those are social norms, society craved, carved norms that are supposed to be important to the external world. What's important to you is probably security, right? Knowing that you can live at peace in a nice home. And so when you are in that home, in that nice home, the fact that you have that peace and you can experience peace and you have, you can rest, that's important to you. So what are you doing every day to increase that rest rhythm that you want to build up? So by the time you get into that house, you're not feeling like this anxious person that needs to go on walks for hours just to settle down. This again goes back to like internal validation, and that means internal success points. What does that look like for you? Again, Unapologetically Visible covers this in more depth, but this is success principle number 21, just in case you didn't know, because I did go off a tangent. And this is to help you really know that when it comes down to your success, you've kept score, and you understand that it's not like something that can be taken away from you. None of this is something that can be taken away from you, because you're keeping the score for your own self. And so nobody can say, oh, that's really a crap score, because that score is tied into your core value system. It's tied into who you are and what you care about in this world. And so these core values and the scores that you're keeping are important to you because maybe they go into that bigger vision of the world changing business person that you are. So just remember some of those key things I just talked about. Go through the video again if you need to, but try to pinpoint some of the things that you are keeping score on. Even if it's like, okay, public speaking, I stood up for 2 minutes and I wasn't running off the stage, or I held my space when it came to a queue and somebody, not giving me 2 meters distance. All of these things outside what might be thinking, what? Inside you know what's important to you because those are part of your core values. Being honest with somebody, again, part of your core values. So you was honest today and you built up that muscle. You was assertive today and you maybe used the framework that I've shared before that helped you to do that. So, oh my gosh, there's so many great things that you could do to make the success muscle just be stronger. And so focus on what you're doing well in this world. And I'm sure the outside world will tell you what you're not doing so well. And then it's up to you to discern if that information that's coming through, if you're filtering that, if it's actually worth your time to focus on that. Because again, it's not about stopping. It's not about stopping and thinking I need to drop everything and to fix this and fix myself, because you don't need to be fixed. You only need to be equipped. Then you moving forward is the best way to really show yourself how successful you are, instead of stopping and thinking you need to fix something. So that was success principle 21, just in case you didn't get the first time or third time or second time. And tomorrow, there's going to be links below this video again for some of the things that I offer that might help you to move beyond this. Unapologetically visible, for example. Thank you for watching, and I will appreciate the likes, the thumbs up, which is the likes, the comments, and the subscription if you have not subscribed already. Thank you for watching.